Do you know how efficient your RO membrane is working? Do you know how to work out the rejection rate? Wondering when it's a good time to change your membrane? Have you had to change your membrane before? The RO membrane does the majority of the work when making pure water. At some point though, you're going to need to change it. Otherwise, the costs of making pure water are going to go high. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to work out the rejection rate, when it's a good time to change your membrane, and how to change it. The rejection rate is basically the efficiency of your RO membrane in the making of pure water. You'll see here in the product description that the membrane has an average rejection rate of 99%. This is when working under optimal conditions. So how do we work out the rejection rate of a membrane? For this, you'll need a handheld TDS meter. This is to measure the TDS levels from your tap water, and you're also going to need an inline TDS meter to record the TDS levels of the water after the RO membrane. For me, where I am, the tap TDS is 260 parts per million, and once the water's passed through the RO membrane, at the moment it's 10 parts per million. So these are the two figures I'm going to use in a formula in order to work out my rejection rate. The formula we're going to use is your tap TDS reading. Take away the TDS readings after the membrane. Then with this figure, you're going to divide it by the tap TDS levels. And then you're going to multiply this figure by 100. So for example, my tap reading is 260 minus 10, which is the reading I've got after the RO membrane. This gives me 250. I'm now going to divide 250 by the tap TDS levels, if you've followed me so far, which is 260. So 250 divided by 260 equals 0.9615. Multiply that figure by 100 and round it, and it will give me 96. So my rejection rate of my membrane is currently 96%. It's recommended that it's time to change your membrane when you get to an efficiency or rejection rate of 75%. What I've done is going from my tap TDS levels of 260, I take away 75% using a calculator obviously, and what I get is an answer of 65. So I know when I use the inline TDS meter and I check the TDS levels after it's passed through the membrane, when it hits 65 parts per million, I now know that my membrane is working at 75%, and therefore it's time for me to change it. Another thing you'll notice is as the rejection rate lowers, you'll probably noticed already at this point that your resin you're using in the DI vessel is having to be changed a lot more often than normal. As the rejection rate gets lower, you'll find you'll have to change the resin a lot more often. That's when it starts to cost you more money to produce pure water. My RO DI system is a static system, and I've got it set up inside a shed filling up a holding tank. So when it's time for me to change the membrane, what I've got to do is turn everything off, disconnect the system, and what I've done is I've used hose connectors to make my life easier in doing this, and I also disconnect the DI vessel as well. Once I've disconnected the static system, I then take it outside and I lay it down on the ground, but with the membrane housing facing up towards the sky. I then use a screwdriver to take off and remove the white plastic clip. It's circular in shape, but it's not a complete circle. So when you take it off for the first time, don't panic and don't think you've actually snapped it. Once you've removed the white plastic clip, keep hold of it and just place it to one side. Next to come off is the end cap. To help me do this, I use a pair of pliers and I use a turning and pulling motion to remove the end cap. It's not screwed in. Once you've removed the end cap, again keep it to one side, you'll need it later. Using a pair of pliers, I get a firm grip of the membrane and I pull the membrane out towards me. As I start to take it out of the housing, you'll notice there's a round rubber ring. It's important you do not throw this away, again you'll need it later. So remove it and place it to one side with the end cap and the white plastic clip. You can now remove the old membrane from the housing using both hands. Once it's fully removed, I've got this laid down next to the new membrane. The one on the right, that is the old one, and the one on the left is the new one. Notice the difference in colour. They're both the same make and the same type. For placing the new membrane, it doesn't matter what way round this goes. Just make sure it's seated in properly and pushed in fully home. Now you're ready to replace the rubber ring that you've kept from earlier. You'll notice in the bottom of the housing there is a recess for it to sit into, so take your time and make sure it's sat in the recess correctly. Now we're ready to replace the end cap. The end cap does not screw in, so all you've got to do is carefully push it in until you meet some firm resistance, which is probably where the end cap sits against that rubber ring. To make sure this goes in fully home, you're going to need a rubber mallet, and you're going to have to hit it quite a few times and be heavy-handed to make sure it goes fully forward and meets with the bottom of the membrane. The next stage is to refit the white plastic clip. You'll be able to work out how it goes on top of the end cap, and then you're going to have to press in firmly and you'll hear it snap in all into place. It's not easy to do, so just persevere with it. Now all we've got to do is stand the system back upright, and it's ready to replace back wherever you've got it set up. So again, for me, I lift it up and replace it back in my shed. My life's easy at connecting it because I've used hose connectors, and then all I've got to do is replumb up the DI vessel. A point to note is when you change your membrane, it's probably a good idea to also change your pre-filters as well. Just remember, it's good to work out the rejection rate to see how efficient the RO membrane is working at. And when you get to 75%, you definitely need to change your RO membrane. The warning signs anyway, you'll notice before this, will be the fact that you're going through your resin in the DI vessel a lot quicker than normal. Just remember the formula to work out the rejection rate, but you will need a handheld TDS meter and an inline TDS meter. Hope you found this useful. If you have, why not subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to keep informed of any content that I make. If you like the video, why not give us a like? It all helps me out and it's all free. Thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next video.